On Global TV News Express, federal government clarifies the cause of the recent flood in Mokwa. In business, ICANN inaugurates Haruna Yahya as 61st president. And on the foreign scene, UN, Iran, and Egypt hold talk as nuclear enrichment ramps up. And in sports, Djokovic cruises into record 19th French Open quarter-final. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. Now, a quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. You can download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. Now the news in full. The People's Democratic Party, New Nigerian People's Party, coalition of united political parties and others have strongly criticized the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, for openly declaring his plan to lead President Bola Tinubu's 2027 re-election campaign. During a media chat, Wike described himself as a key asset in helping Tinubu win the 2027 election. The former Rivers State governor also insisted he was not involved in any anti-party activity. The party's deputy national youth leader, Timothy Osadalo, urged Nigerians to disregard Wike's comments, stating that the party will soon enforce its rules against the minister. The Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Engineer Prof. Joshua Teruluman Utziv, has expressed deep concern over the recent flood incident in Mokwa, which claimed lives and displaced residents on May 29, 2025. Speaking at a press briefing in Abuja, the minister emphasized that the flood was not due to release from the Kanji or Jeba dams, but of which remained safe. Instead, it resulted from extreme rainfall linked to climate change, worsened by blocked waterways due to unregulated buildings. Priscilla Obasi completes the story.
The Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation has addressed the nation on the flood incident across the country, clarifying the cause of the recent flood in Mokwa, Niger State, while restating early flood warnings issued in April. The minister commended the immediate response efforts of the Niger State government, local authorities, and first responders who have been working tirelessly to provide relief and support to the victims. He stated that technical personnel from the ministry, Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, Upper Niger River Basin Development Authority, and National Water Resources Institute are currently on ground in Mokwa assessing the situation to produce a detailed report.
This opportunity to re-echo the key warnings and recommendations from the 2025 annual flood outlook. We have urged and we are still urging states and local governments to act on these early warnings by 1. Strengthening drainage infrastructure, relocating vulnerable communities from flood plains, engaging in sustained public awareness campaigns, and enforcing land use regulations to prevent encroachment into flood-prone areas.
Professor Usev emphasized that part of the issue is the encroachment of floodplains by residents who were previously advised not urban planning and the provision of adequate drainage infrastructure.
Weather events, including intensive rainfall and river flooding, are becoming more frequent and severe across the country and globally. These events not only disrupt livelihoods, they also challenge the resilience of our infrastructure and environment. As a ministry, we remain fully committed to our mandate of monitoring, managing the nation's water resources in a sustainable and climate-resilient manner.
The ministry had earlier predicted flooding in 19 local government areas of Niger State, including Mokwa, through its 2025 annual flood outlook. Communities across 33 states, including the FCT, are identified as high-risk zones with the minister calling for stronger drainage systems, relocation of vulnerable population, and stricter enforcement of land use laws. Priscilla Obasi, Global Television.
All right, now you are welcome back from that report. Let's quickly go on a very quick break. News Express continues shortly. Stay tuned. Do you know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
You are welcome back from that very quick break. If you're just tuning in, this is News Express on Global Television. The federal government says 100,000 assistants will be trained across the country in 2025 to revamp of Association of Nigerian Eid el-Kabir bonus to all civil servants and pensioners in the state. The approval reflects the governor's commitment to the welfare and happiness of the people, especially during the sacred period of Eid el-Kabir, a time of sharing, reflection, and prayer. A statement by the Zamfara State Commissioner for Information and Culture, Mahmood Mohammed Dantawasa, says the gesture was to ease the financial burden on families and enable them to celebrate the festivities with joy and dignity. In a bid to reach an amicable resolution, the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, has assured the chiefs of Panduma and Guzape community in the Federal Capital Project and the concerns raised regarding the evacuation of the affected villagers. The minister says his administration will address the growing tension surrounding the continued presence of residents in areas marked for development, particularly for the major road infrastructure intended to ease traffic and boost connectivity within the FCT. Our correspondent Godwin Sunday reports.
The FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, in a strategic meeting with the traditional chiefs and representatives of the Baduma and Guzampe communities in the Federal Capital Territory, reiterated that every affected
individual, but the rate people are using is too small, right? Increase their rate. If they're using 50 naira, give them 100 naira. Do you understand me? Then call director to get land for them. For those who are fighting, not the whole community, it's just those on the corridor, on the road, not the entire community. Until when we want to talk about community, we know, but this one just on the road, the corridor. So that we are not pushing out everybody. So don't say I said no, I'm not doing that now. But let the road link up. So that we know that we have the development.
In response, the traditional leaders of Baduma and Guzape, led by Sapai of Gariki, Alhaji Usman Nga Kupi, expressed their appreciation to the FCT Minister for his transparency and willingness to engage them directly.
Minister of FCT, we want to thank God and want to appreciate you at this moment. Why I say all this because we have never had a minister that brought his people close to him. We are the only one. Any other one is counterfeit. We are happy we have been praying for you. And I want to tell you clearly that we are what they are doing 100%.
The industrial action embarked to appear before the court on Tuesday, but could not be present in court due to the ongoing strike by JASUN, which commenced on Monday. Minister of State for Works Mohammed Garoyo says federal government must spend about 880 billion naira annually for the maintenance of the federal road network nationwide. This came as the managing director of the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, Chukwuemeka Abasi, disclosed that the template for deducting the road usage charge for the piece of petrol and diesel was never implemented by the Defunct Petroleum Product Pricing Regulatory Authority, now the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. The two government officials spoke in a meeting. The party also revealed that the actions of West local government area of the state by armed men suspected to be Fulani herders. Governor Alia made the confirmation after an emergency security council meeting with service chiefs in the state at the government house in Makurdi. He noted that the casualty figures may rise given the scale and intensity of the attacks on two communities. Benue State the governor further stated that those injured in the attack are receiving treatment in the equal, while service chiefs have been deployed to the troubled areas on the directives of the State Security Council. Following suspected herdsman attack that left several people dead in two communities in Benue State, Governor Hyacinth Alia, in company of all security heads in the state, have paid an on-the-spot assessment visit to them. Governor Alia assured the public that the spate of attack will soon come to an end. In another development, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oloyede, has relocated to Makurdi, the Benue State capital, over the insistent killing of innocent villagers by herders and militia groups. The killing, which is becoming almost a daily occurrence, has left many dead, several others injured and maimed, and several houses burned, leaving many homeless. The Lieutenant General departed Abuja in early hours of Tuesday, accompanied by his principal staff officers and other top officers at the Army headquarters to the state to have an on-the-spot assessment of the situation grade of polytechnics to degree awarding institutions. In a statement signed by its president, Comrade Eshifoni Oyeni, the association said the upgrade will resolve the lingering dichotomy between higher national diploma and the Bachelor of Science holders. Students further proposed a student insurance scheme, mental health awareness campaign, and improved campus security measures as part of their policy advocacy. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria has sworn in its 61st president, Haruna Yahaya. Yahaya was sworn in at the investigative ceremony held at the ICANN head office in Lagos. He succeeded Davidson Alaribe, who was the 60th president of the Institute. In his valedictory speech, Alaribe revealed that during his time in office, ICANN expanded his footprint across Nigeria as it opened 26 district societies, and 24 of these were inaugurated. Present at the event were the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who was represented by the Accountant General of the state, Dr. Abiodun Muritala, the Deputy Governor of Jigawa State, Aminu Usman, the Attorney General of Jigawa State, Abdulkadri Fulnini, the Executive Secretary of the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria, Dr. Rabiu Olowu, the President of the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, Zuera Kashimi, the President of Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, Professor Pius Olorewaju, and others. In business news, the presidency has begun internal approval processes to resolve the 2 trillion naira legacy debt owed by electricity generation companies before the end of the coming quarter, as part of efforts to stabilize Nigeria's power sector. Representatives of the Special Advisor to the President on Energy, Ereye Onugorua, disclosed this at the second Nigerian Electricity Supply Industry Stakeholders Meeting of 2025. Hosted by the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, Onugorua said the presidency recognizes the urgency of addressing the debt overhang, which has stained GenCos and impeded electricity supply nationwide. She revealed that the alternative debt instruments are being explored due to the federal government's current fiscal constraints. 7 states spent an average at 190% of their internally generated revenue on debt servicing in the first quarter of 2025, a development that shows a worsening fiscal strain facing subnational government. Data from Q1 2025 budget implementation reports of Bayelsa, Adamawa, Benue, Niger, Kogi, Taraba, and Bauchi states show that debt service expenditure in each of the states exceeded their internal revenue. In some cases by more than 300%, the trend when compared with figures from the preceding quarter Q4 2025 also reflects a sharp quarter-on-quarter surge in debt service costs, which rose by approximately 51% across the states reviewed. Still on the foreign scene now, South Korea's begin voting Tuesday in a snap presidential election, concluding months of political upheaval following former President Yoon Suk Yeol's controversial imposition of martial law and subsequent impeachment. Polling units opened at 6 a.m. local time in districts across the country, including Seoul's area, where a small group of elderly voters queued early to cast their ballots. The National Election Commission millions had already voted during the two-day early voting period last week, with more than one-third of registered voters participating. On a foreign scene now, Iranian, Egyptian, and United Nations leaders have met in Cairo to discuss Iran's nuclear program after the United Nations Nuclear Watchdog Agency says Iran is further increasing its stockpile of uranium enriched at near weapons-grade level. Rafael Morano Garce, Director General of Vietnam-based International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, said the agency compiled its report, seen by the Associated Press over weekend because Iranian enrichment is an ongoing concern for the IAEA's Board of Governors. Amid negotiations between the Trump administration and Iran over a potential nuclear deal, Israel is preparing a possible strike on Iranian nuclear facilities. And in sports stories now, Liverpool are reportedly preparing to initiate negotiations for the singing of Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen for Napoli during the upcoming summer transfer window. The 26-year-old forward, who spent last season on loan of Galatasaray, delivered an impressive performance, netting 37 goals and providing 8 assists in 41 appearances. Liverpool's interest in Osimhen aligns with their plans to potentially replace Darwin Núñez, who has attracted attention from in Saudi Arabia and in Europe. The captain of Manchester United, Bruno Fernandes, has rejected the Saudi club Al Hilal offer while opting to stay in his club. This was disclosed by Italian sports journalist Fabrizio Romano on X. According to him, Fernandes rejected the club's significant contract proposal. As we end the News Express, here's a recap of our top stories again. Brought to you that the Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Engineer Professor Joseph Tarlan has expressed deep concern over the recent flood incidents in Mokwa, which claimed lives and displaced residents on May 29, 2025. And in business, we brought to you that the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria has sworn in its 61st president, Haruna Yahaya, at the investiture ceremony held at the ICANN headquarters in Lagos. And on the foreign scene, Iranian, Egyptian, and United Nations leaders met in Cairo to discuss Iran's nuclear program after the United Nations Nuclear Watchdog Agency. And finally, in sport, Ivek Nekchovic has eased into record-breaking 19th Roland Garros quarterfinal with a comfortable straight-set victory over Cameron Norrie. And that's it on Global News Express. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Now kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @Global TV NG. You can download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching.